And so, and then it comes down to, okay, well, what is idolatry then? Well, again, it comes down to intent. For instance, I know they'll bring up, in Exodus, they had the golden calf issue where Aaron made the golden calf and said, oh, here, oh God, or here, Israel, these are the gods that took you up out of Egypt, right? Then you have the case of Jeroboam where he sets up these calves and says, it's too much for you to, worship God. Go worship the calves, right? Or something like that. Well, is the calf itself the problem? Is it the gold itself that's the problem? Think about it. Really think about it. Because if you look at 1 Kings chapter 7 and 2 Chronicles chapter 4, in Solomon's temple, you have 12 bronze oxen, right? And think about the cherubim, right? In the most holy place, there's the cherubim. Last time I checked, cherubim are not God, right? And so what is the problem then? What is the problem with all these cases? It's the intent, right? The Israelites were intending to worship a different God. They made up a different God and said, this is your God when it clearly wasn't your God, right? But in the Solomon temple, the oxen were just symbols of the sacrifice, right? Because they sacrificed ox regularly. So it was a member of this, it was a symbol of the sacrificial ox, I guess, in that case. Nobody's worshiping, no one's bowing down to these oxen in the temple and worshiping God, they're not worshiping the oxen as their God, rather. So again, it comes down to, again, the intent. Because if it was the bull that was the problem, bull made of metal or the cow made of metal, whatever the case is, then why would God allow oxen to be in the temple, the most holy place, among the Jewish community? It's like, it seems hypocritical, but God's obviously not like that. So what do you have left in this case? You have the intent. You have the cherubim in the most holy place, right, on top of the Ark of the Covenant. So are cherubim an idol? Again, it's the intent. Are you going to worship the cherubim? Yeah, if you worship them and say, oh, this is my God, I'm going to worship, kiss it, and do these things, then yes, you made it an idol. And an idol doesn't exist by itself. Paul makes that very clear. Like, an idol is nothing. And even in the Old Testament, it says they can do no harm, nor can they do any good. So what is an idol? It's what you make it. An idol only exists if people are there to worship it, right? I mean, of course, the object exists. But my point is that God only exists if there's people that think he exists. That's the point. And so, you have that you need to really consider when you're trying to look through these things. Like, what is your intent? On one hand, you have the oxen that were considered gods of Israel when they weren't. But then you have one in the temple where they're not worshiping it. It's just a symbol of something, right? Two totally different things. One has the intent of worshiping a false god. The other one is being used for God in the temple. And so you have to really just, again, if to summarize it simply, it's the intent. Now, I know they'll probably say right now, well, in Jeremiah, I think it's Jeremiah, where it says, don't worship the other gods and the ways of the nations, et cetera, et cetera. Well, what were the ways he was talking about? Nobody ever brings that up, right? What was the ways in the context right there that he was saying don't do? Well, if you actually read, it's sacrificing your children, it's orgies, it's fornication, it's a bunch of things that God clearly forbids, both in the Old and New Testament, and it's sin, right? And so regardless of when you do that, right, whether it's for a God on a certain day in a certain way, regardless, that is wrong. That is bad. Don't do it. That's God's point. And so God isn't saying, like, he's not talking about Easter eggs in that point. He's not talking about Easter eggs in that place. He's not talking about a tree, a Christmas tree. He's not talking about an ornament or something like that. He's saying, don't do these detestable things, which he clearly outlined as a do not do in the Old Covenant. Don't kill your kids. Don't sacrifice your children in the fires of Molech, right? Don't have these orgies with, and don't have these, weird fornication ritual. Like, clearly that is sin, and that has always been sin.